Yo guys, it's Ryan K back again, and finally we're going back to the series of making a trance track from scratch. It's been a while, at least a month actually. That's because I've got a new PC, a new webcam, still stuck with this microphone. I need to get a better one and sort out the audio quality a bit, but for the meantime this will do. This is the third time I've tried to record this just because there's distortion coming through the microphone, really odd, but away from that, let's get back into the production. So if you look back at the last video, we did the bass, so we've got the kick and bass pretty much, but as many producers as well as me, you never get it first time. I've listened back and I feel like I need another mid bass. That's what we're going to go over now. So I've made the mid bass, this is what it sounds like. Pretty much what I've done is just add a bit of a more grittier, a bit more mid bass, if that makes sense, a bit more lower energy. And all it is, it's a simple ARP, quite low down in the octaves, so F3. Inspire as usual, couple of oscillators, have a quick look if you want to copy them. It was a preset anyway, but I changed the ARP settings around, okay, so just the rhythm I like to use. So it sounds like this. Now, I've added a little bit more processing to it as well, actually. Just added a bit more. So the three mid basses are going to my bass bus. The bass bus is going to a couple of sends. Now, all that's happening on these two sends is some reverb and some delay. I might have to make a full video on sends. It's basically just using different insert channels to add certain effects, okay, without adding it to the normal channel. On the bass bus, we have, oh, this is in the way. We have a Fab Filter Q2, so just an EQ. I've taken out the bottom, just very simple. Though this is where the kick and bass is going to be. I've then added some simple compression. Okay, it's taken 4 or 5 dBs here. Now, I've added a plugin I love to use recently, and I've been using it more and more often. It's called Distortion 2. It's a free download, so you can pick it up yourself. Basically, the only features I use in here is the soft clip and hard clip. Now, it's basically just distorting the sound, and doing that, it's introducing some new harmonics. And that's going to be very useful because it just fattens up the sound and makes it sound a bit more richer and kind of brings up the mix, front of the mix quicker. So we've got the soft clip a little bit and a little bit of the hard clip. Obviously, the soft clip not as harsh as the hard clip. So this is what it sounds like on and off. Off. On. It just brings it to the front of the mix. What I got after is another EQ. Now many people will be like, well, what are you using 2 EQs for? What's the point in that? So what I'm doing here is sometimes when you add some plugins, especially if like a distortion or saturation plugin, it'll add some lower harmonics that you don't want. Even though I have EQ'd it already, I've added another EQ just to take off that frequencies that would have been added from distortion. As usual, I've added an LF4 just to duck it when the kick's coming in and bring it back. Now, I have it slightly different. The LF4 is not cutting all of it out at the start. I want a little bit left in, and then as soon as the meat or the base of the kick comes in, I drop it down, and then I bring it back up again. So it sounds like this. Without. With. Oh, what the hell is this? That's the bass done. Probably most likely go back and have a look at it again, but for the meantime, that'll do. Okay, so percussion. Normally, I will start off with an open hat and a clap, so let me look for some samples and put them in for you now. Okay, so I've used the NEPP sample pack to get a few samples. I've got the link down below for you if you want to use that. I've got an open hat and a clap. Now, many people will use rides instead of an open hat. Now the difference really, an open hat is usually a little bit snappier. It can be longer, but a ride normally washes out a little bit more. For me, I prefer using open hats, but it's up to you. I also use MIDI. So some people will just drag and drop the sample of the open hat into the playlist and arrange it themselves. I've always done it this way. For this, it's fine. I've put on the offbeat of each beat, but I can then manipulate the sample within here in FL Studio, so I can affect the out. So how much of the sample is taken out and how much is taken in. Now, obviously, I want to keep the start of it. I've routed that here on my mixer, and it goes straight to the master bus. Literally no processing on it. Now the clap. Let's have a listen to the clap. So Again, very simple clap. The clap is then linked to the mixer and it doesn't go to the percussion bus, it goes to the master. I've explained that in my first video why I do that. It is also sent to a send to give it a bit of reverb. So basically on the send, I've got a reverb plugin, this one for this time, full mix, so it's only the wet signals coming out here. I don't want to double up the sound, the original sound. So when I send my clap through to it, this signal is saying how much reverb's getting applied to it. And mixing wise, I would drop the clap down quite a bit in the mix, just because it sounds really cheesy if you don't. So in the mix so far, it sounds like this. Even that's a touch loud, might change it later on. Now on to close hats, sorry. The close hats are all on 16th notes, straight into the piano roll. Now, a little cool thing I've done here is instead of using an LFO tool, I've adjusted the velocity on the piano roll so it gets louder as it goes on like this. Okay, so it sounds like this. It's also got an LFO tool on in the mixer, so be wary when you listen to that. I've also got some panning, so it's a bit like a ping pong delay in early actually. So it's panning to the left and right speaker. Simple technique. On to loops. Right, so I've chosen some loops from the NEPP pack again. Thanks Jay for making these are really good actually. When I'm making loops, I make sure I don't just pile loads of samples on that I like, okay? Think about how these are going to fit in your percussion mix. So you might want more with some more high end, you might want ones a bit more drive in the middle. So this is what they sound like, and this is what I came up with. It's quite high, more mid, and again a bit in between, a bit of both of them. So together with the rest, spot on. Now these three didn't sound like this originally. I've added some process into it. If you look here, I have the loops going to the percussion bus as well as the closed hat. The rest of them I haven't. So I want them just to be affected by the same things. So if I take off all of the plugins, sounds alright, but it can do a bit better. So I've added a Pro Q to it. I wanted this bass out, I didn't like it. Took it out. I've boosted this a bit just because I quite like that frequency and how it worked. I've added some H delay, a very little bit of H delay, so it just widens the sound a bit. So you can use any delay plugin you want, just add a little bit. Some reverb. It just gives it a bit more air. So when I mean air, top end. And then I've added some more distortion. Just a little bit of soft clip, just to push it up a bit. Again, it's a bit of compression. Added some more compression. Now this really brings it up a bit of volume, but it still sounds okay. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make the percussion uniform, so it's not getting louder, quiet at different parts. That'll help a hell of a lot in the future. So as you can see here, the peaks at the start are getting squashed, so they're leveling out the volume. Then an LFO, like this. Same principle as the bass, I'm letting a little bit through, then dropping it down and bringing it back up. So let's listen to it in the mix. Right guys, just again to reiterate, now this is all the creative process. Please don't just look at my settings and go, I'm going to steal them. Honestly, use your own creativity. This is my type of mix. You could have a slightly more mid-range percussion. You could have a bit more driving percussion. If everyone just copied the same settings, you'd all sound the same. You wouldn't have your own identity. Be careful not to fall into the trap of copying other people or using templates, because you're just going to sound like everyone else and you're not going to stand out. I promise you that. Just do your own thing. Oh, one last thing. Forgot to mention. When you're adding a sample in, guys, okay, it doesn't have to be the same BPM. Now, I've had quite a few people actually mention this. Some people don't realise, and you know who I'm talking to, you'll probably be watching this video, realise that if it's not the same BPM sample as your project, there's some people you can't use them. Now, of course you can. So this sample down here is 138 BPM, but it fits in, it doesn't go over over 8 bars. All you have to do in FL Studios is press this little tab here on top of the sample, fit the tempo, and then it's going to estimate the sample BPM. Now, lucky for us, it tells you on the sample 138. Just press estimate it, or if it's not that, you know what the BPM is. You just type in the BPM manually. It'll resize the clip to fit in, and then make sure to change the mode here, the time stretching mode, to stretch. Okay. It just makes the sample sound a bit more accurate in the sound. Okay, it keeps the correct tone and pitch correct. Okay, so make sure you do that. Alright guys, hopefully you learned a little bit more on this tutorial about bass and percussion programming. Make sure you subscribe and like the video. It really does help us out, and every Friday, hopefully from now on, since I've got a new computer, I'll be able to do a video probably following this series. But guys, until next time, have a good one. See you later.